All right, and welcome back to another amazing episode of Rough Sketch of Final Draft. I am your host, Coach Adam. We are continuing on our journey in season 5 as we grow and go in the light, and we are always looking for the next type of thought process that we're growing into in our journeys, whether or not we're healing, whether or not we're coaching, whether or not we're giving back, whether or not we're trying to become better ourselves. And I am visited today by an amazing presenter, coach, I would say yoga guru as well, and she is going to enlighten us, she is going to instruct us, and she is going to teach us many wonderful things. So without further ado, allow me to pass off to our amazing guest. Here we are.
Wow, Adam, thank you so much for your introduction. I don't know if I wouldn't call myself a guru. I'm just a human being as all of us. But according to Kundalini Yoga, what I'm teaching as well, the guru is in all of us. So in that perspective, I am a guru as everyone.
Yes, very much so. And you're humble too. So I love that. Yes. And I know you do coaching, and I know you do all the work. So right from the get-go, anyone who's out there who's listening, our now new 10,000 followers, I love you all so much as we continue to grow. Explain to us a little bit about what Kundalini is that separates it maybe from maybe Vipassana yoga or something else in a breath work. Kind of let's kind of unpack that a little bit for the sake of the audience. They may not know what that term is. So what is Kundalini?
Yeah, so Kundalini, according to the classical teachings, is a dormant energy at the base of the spine, and we can awaken that. So we often see the symbol of the snake that is climbing up towards the third eye in the center of our eyebrows. But in essence, of course, we don't have literally a snake at the base of our spine, right? I hope not, and if you have, please let us know, because that would be very
Call
nice.
us.
Yeah. So it's a symbol. It's a symbol of potential. So what you notice when you start to practice, you start to work with Kundalini energy, is that something dormant starts to awaken. And that you can notice like in the amount of energy you have, in the amount of connection that you feel to everyone around you, to nature, and even something like that, like the infinite. You start to become very aware and very conscious that you are more than just a body, so that you are infinite being. And as long as you don't step into this Kundalini energy, it's something vague. It's like, it sounds nice, but yeah. So when you start to work with Kundalini energy, it really opens up your consciousness. Yeah.
This is going to be related to the third eye. Most people might be more aligned to understanding that type of terminology in our pineal gland. So how does that tie in with Kundalini? Is that kind of an activation from within? Kind of unpack that a bit for the audience.
Yeah, so the third eye is where two becomes one. So everything in our body has left and right. We have a left arm, left leg, right leg, our eyes, our ears, everything has a left and a right, and our brain as well. So often as we go through our day, we function or in the left side or in the right side. And it doesn't happen a lot that we combine them in one moment. So also when you start to work with the Kundalini energy and it starts to rise, up, and it arrives at the center of the forehead, two becomes one. And that's why you experience oneness. I have experienced that once in my lifetime, like I think more often, but once was very clear. And I was like, there's nobody else here. It's just me. It was with an ex-partner. And at the moment that I got scared, I snapped out of it because my mind came in, and the mind is dualistic. So it couldn't comprehend that state. So it went back to its safety.
Right.
Yeah. But in a practical way, it's when you experience a state of oneness, it's a state where you feel at peace, where you have this big trust. When fear comes up, you just trust that everything is perfect and everything will be all right in the end. Yeah.
I like that because it's the ever-turning balance of even, we see the symbols all the time, and the black and the white as it's spinning around, that there's the light and the darkness, and then there's the calm and the fear. And if we really can just overcome that fear, then we will be able to be closer to being able to experience that oneness at a more sustainable pace, to be able to enjoy our lives, to feel our connection to all living things again. kind of like that?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So it's not that like your fear will always be there. As long as you have a body, you will have fear because it's a nervous system thing. So this is also really important to know that your fear is just here to keep you safe. That's it. Problem is that we live in a society where we are bombarded with information, and your nervous system, your body thinks like, I'm not safe. So, but when you train this higher consciousness, you have the awareness to notice faster, am I really in danger? And then your wisdom takes over, and you don't have to go all the way through the fears. So, for example, if you have a crisis in your life, financial crisis, so a lot of people have financial crisis now. So if you get in this panicky feeling, you are not capable to find a clear solution to reflect upon your situation because yeah, your clarity is just gone. You are in constant panic. But if you develop this higher consciousness, you are more at ease, and you can take a breath and say like, okay, what can I do? It's not good. It's not nice now, but what can I do to solve it? And it might take time, but yeah.
I love that. And what are some of the tactics and what are some of the principles and what are some of the techniques that you use with your wonderful clients to help them kind of get centered into that and to maybe find a way to start sparking that inner flame, that inner fire to be able to find this oneness? What are some of the practices that are utilized in your teachings? How do you go about that?
Yeah, so there are like multiple practices that we can
Multiple.
do. Like,
Yes.
yeah, so I work with Tantra, I work with embodiment, I work with Kundalini Yoga, and also with mindset, also with bringing structure in your life. But we're not gonna go through all of that.
Right. Yeah.
No, but the easiest way is to just take a breath, and suddenly everything stops. Yeah. So just start with that, and the most simple tip I can give, and what I work on a lot with my clients, and it's very difficult for them to sustain in that, is plan some time in the morning for yourself, not for your work, not rushing to the bathroom or to eat breakfast, but just like maybe make that cup of tea or coffee, whatever you like, and just sit down and just stare through the window or at the wall and just feel, like, put your hands on your heart and just ask yourself, how do I feel now? And if you feel bad, like what's that, sad or angry or frustrated, beautiful. Take a moment to feel that, like take a deep breath and feel that, just start simple. We don't have to go to all these advanced techniques to find inner peace. We can do that if you are interested in that, but start simple.
Yeah, and sometimes that's a key point to it. And no one who's listening and who's watching, this amazing coach obviously walks souls through their beginning stages on the way to their enlightenment and activation. At the same time, let's never undermine the ability of just starting simple and how simple things are not simple. They really are the basis of all things. If you're going to start a workout regimen, just getting into the gym and making sure that you're doing something seems simple, but it's a huge step because it's more than what you were doing a day ago. So as you have a morning routine, as she's suggesting, which is, it sounds simple, it's more than what you were doing a week ago. And you're really doing it for you. You're starting to show up for you. You're starting to make time and that presence and that connection with yourself. And eventually that simple step, that seemingly simple step of just making time for you will be impactful. So the point is that simple really does grow into something more meaningful. So we'll keep on growing with this in that regard because this is such a good topic for other individuals for their breathing routine, maybe in the morning. What would be maybe somewhere else to kind of get into it is a journaling meditation moment, maybe taking 5 minutes, 2 minutes for meditation. Is there a breathing exercise that you might want to recommend of a inhale for 16, exhale for 2? Is there some sort of something that we can give to the audience right now, just a little nugget that we can give to them? What do you suggest?
Yeah, there's one, and it's super simple. I will tell two. Okay. So the first one is really if you are like an overwhelm or you feel frozen, and a lot of us are in these times. I mean, let's be honest, it's overwhelming to live in this world. It's terrible. So we need this simple breathing techniques. So you just breathe in for 5. So breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. And while I'm talking, you can keep on doing that, right? And immediately you send a signal to your body that it's okay. I know that this exercise, this 5 in, 5 out, even soldiers use it in war, like when they are really fighting, they are using because they are in continuous overwhelm. So it really works, And then another one is very powerful. It's the 4-7-8, in for 4, hold for 7, and out for 8. And this breath is scientifically proved that it immediately activates the part of the nervous system that is responsible for relaxation. So yeah, and it's really powerful. I have been teaching on retreats for doctors, and they are learning this breathing technique. They do it every morning because they have a very stressful job. And when they go work with the patients that are also in a lot of fear, they teach the patients when they have like in the night panic attacks, like because they are like very, very ill. And so they can do this 4-7-8, and it really calms the mind. So these are really simple things to start with that you can immediately notice the effect. But this is more about solving a problem than creating a long-term change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are the good little reminders, yeah, and every bit counts. So thank you so much for sharing those two nuggets of wisdom for us. But I'll say this too, because I find it to be interesting that where breath work really does work. And I look to you as the expert in this. I've only cursorily kind of looked at things. I do personal training, I do bodybuilding, I've done yoga, but I'm not certified, and certainly not on the level that you are. I've heard that trauma, we deal with that a lot in coaching, obviously, right? A lot of psychological, mental, emotional trauma does get stored inside the body. If you literally had an argument with a partner maybe 6 years ago, somewhere that hurts is in the shoulder. And that literally 7 months later turns into a pain. And 7 years later, after the relationship is over, now you have, a bad joint there. And it's actually literally due to the trauma from the relationship. In your breath work and in your building, how do you look for with clients maybe to absolve that, to resolve that? And is there a breathing technique to kind of go through the body to find out where those pain points might be, to feel that energy?
Yeah, so this is more complex than just the breath, using a specific technique to release trauma in your body. I wish that there was a technique to just like, I could say like, okay, breathe in for 2, hold for 1, exhale for 3. So this is not something that you can do and will help. But so there are different approaches. Like you say, sometimes when I have a client here live, I guide the client to just lie down on the floor, relax. First, relax the breath into the belly. And we go more into a visualization. So I ask the person, when you think about that situation, where in your body do you feel an activation? And then can you go to that place in your body with your awareness while breathing slowly and deeply and keep on relaxing the body? And then I ask them, and this you can do also with yourself, like you can also go develop this sensitivity in the body, because it's also when you are not used to it, you might think like, I don't feel anything. Yes, you feel. If you don't feel nothing, that's also feeling. It's already a start. So then ask again, like, okay, I don't feel here. How does it feel when I feel nothing? How does it feel when I feel calm? Right? And then you can, if you feel like, you can ask like, okay, the sensation here in my left hip. I had recently a client, and she has literally a trauma stored in her left hip from a relationship, like you said, literally.
Right.
So, and it was because we worked through it, because she always said yes to her partner while she felt no. And every time she turned to the left side when they were making love, while she didn't want it actually. And now, after a couple of years, she has really issues with her hip. Yeah, you feel that, right? So, and this is also a beautiful example how important it is when you feel a no to just express that, even when you don't think that the person can receive that. So now
Be
what
true.
we did,
I said, be true to you. Yes. Keep going. Yeah.
yeah. So what we did with her is we journeyed there, and we started to, I asked her, what do you see there? So she felt the sensation. It was not nice. And then often what people see then is like dark, dense colors, sharp forms. Like they always, we have this capacity to see colors and forms in the parts of our body where the trauma is stored. You just have to open yourself up for that and trust that you can do that. And then, well, we just observe. Presence is another very powerful form of healing. Presence, just present. It's not looking away. Oh, that's scary because it's dark, or sharp. No, it's dark and sharp, but it's in your body. So, and then I invite them, like, maybe center some love with your presence by not pushing it away, but accepting it because it wants to be seen. And then the miracle happens because suddenly they start to see that it becomes the size of the part where they see the trauma becomes smaller. The color starts to change. Often they start to see light inside of the darkness. And it's amazing because all the people have the same experiences. So we have all this capacity to see it. And then I invite them to invite the light, and spread it over that part. And often they start to see pink after a while. And then I receive messages like, wow, that part of my body feels so much more loose, so much more open. So by awareness and bringing love into those parts that you have been neglecting, that creates deep healing. It's like the essence of healing is so simple. It's again, like, maybe it's a red thread of this conversation, simplicity, right? But can we stay present when we feel uncomfortable? Same for in the morning. When you wake up in the morning, like we said before, can you stay simple? Or are you rushing away, looking away? Can you stay? Stay. That's the practice. Stay. Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. If we can't be present with ourselves, even in the moment, in our routine in the morning, doesn't that say something about us for the rest of the day? Because if you can't be present in the morning, just for 5 minutes, maybe for yourself, then throughout the course of the day at work, are you neglecting yourself? As we just got done saying about your wonderful client, blessings to her and her healing and her journey. Was she not being able to give presence to herself in that relationship? Was she not able to give patience and love to herself, which is all the body wants? Your body wants love. It wants to be accepted. It wants to be seen. It wants to be heard, not just by other people. I know in this world we can talk about a million different things about how we're all seeking validation, but our own bodies are literally looking for love and to be seen and to be heard even by ourselves. And we have to give that to ourselves first. We literally have to fill up our own cups as we go out into this world before we're demanding other people to fill our empty cup. We should leave the home every single day with a cup at least 3/4 full of our own work, and then our body will appreciate ourselves because we appreciated our body. And our body says, thank you in a genuine sense.
Yeah. And then you start to receive inspiration and inner guidance, like how to walk through the day, to what to do. And maybe you will find out like, actually, I'm not so happy with this decision or how I'm handling this or how I'm treated. And if you take some time and you just reflect, like reflecting is such a powerful skill. Reflecting, not and now especially with ChatGPT, it's like we have to train this skill because it's going very fast with AI, like, and we have to keep honor that skill of thinking and reflecting and feeling to stay empowered.
True. And to find our actual soulful intuition, connect back to the universe, not towards ChatGPT, connect to your soulful universal intelligence, not to AI's intelligence. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And then you can always use ChatGPT to improve some things or, like the automatic things. But yeah, we must be really, really aware of what's coming as well from, we need extra, everything is speeding up. Everything is speeding up and it will speed up faster and faster and faster and faster. So we have also this duality. So we have to find a way to slow down. So we have a balance.
Yeah.
Because our body is not made for this speed, really not. We cannot train our body in this speed as artificial intelligence is training itself.
So yeah, you would recommend obviously doing some breathing exercises. I would recommend this amazing coach, Angie. She's incredible. Anyone who's looking for someone just to slow it back down, this amazing soul. Her links will be down in the description, by the way. So we'll make sure all that's all there. But I think I want to circle back to one of the things that you said just a moment ago about the fact of when you're looking into the darkness, and that they see this radiant pink. I've heard of this before. Obviously, I'm familiar a little bit, never an expert, I'll never say expert, with chakras and so on and so forth and all their color patterns. I've heard that in deep meditations, pink is a color that people tend to see often as a healing radiation of basically kind of cosmic light rays coming down to the body to heal. And I've heard that it's either ultraviolet and purple or in this beautiful hue of soft pink. If you want to expand upon that, if any deeper knowledge or insights, go ahead and share that, because I think just even that is something that makes people feel a little bit better about, I closed my eyes and I saw darkness and then I saw pink and they won't know what to do. So talk about those a little bit. How does that process usually work?
Yeah, so it has everything to do with frequencies. And when you look into like through a prisma, you can see also these different colors. So pink and purple, like purple is even higher frequency than pink, but pink is the frequency of love. So when we see pink, we see love. That's why we have pink hearts, right?
Yeah. Pink skin, it's meant to be of love, right? I think the creator of the universe, regardless of all religions and beliefs here in this channel, we're open to all. The
Yeah.
real genuine creator of the universe, right, is of love. We were made from love. Simple as that. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. Yeah, my name, my spiritual name is Preet Simran, means divine love. So
That's
it's
beautiful.
a true continuous state of meditation. So you are in the right place. If you want to speak about divine love, then yeah, the color pink.
Hey, well, there we go. Today we are shooting from the hip, and right there we're shooting from the heart. So I did not know that I was speaking to a cosmic messenger of divine love. There we go. Fam, give a heart to her for that. No kidding. I love that. And I think we'll get into this divine love. I think one more thing that I want to take as a caveat, one more aside that we had there was, I think it's beautiful. You touched on it. And I think it's a beautiful thing that when you're able to, as a coach and as a guide, as a mentor, to walk people through their darkness, because you're taking what's in the unknown and bringing it to the known, right? And it's the only way you can heal it. Sometimes we don't know what we don't know. It's in our blind spots. And in that regard, I use this example sometimes in coaching, and the fact of if we sat down in an airplane tomorrow and you and I were supposed to fly ourselves from here to, I don't know, maybe Thailand for the weekend, we'd immediately become aware of what we don't know, because I don't know how to fly a plane. So if you do, that'd be great, but I don't. So we would immediately now see the dashboard and all the buttons and all the levers, and now we know what we don't know. And that's an amazing spot to be, because now I can learn and we can be taught what we need to learn. And if that's about us and our healing journey, our central nervous system, our emotional capacities, our spiritual awareness, our Kundalini, our third eye, 3 seconds ago, some people listening may not have even been familiar with those words. And now those are in their toolkit. And now they can use those to help build their emotional body, their healing journey better. And I think it's beautiful, because what you do, Angie, and what we all are trying to do in this coaching world is, as we're trying to help people who are hurting in the world right now, is to have courage. Is to have courage to look into that darkness, to find that darkness, to maybe bathe it in purple violet, open consciousness light, in that pink hue of divine love, and just encapsulate that darkness and turn it into bright white light once more and heal. But it takes courage. And I love what you're doing, because you inspire people to find their courage.
Yeah, it takes absolutely courage. And actually, yesterday evening, I found a card behind some furniture that has written on it "Wise Leader," and I haven't seen that card for 4 years. And I remember that card gave me hope in very dark times. And I can tell everyone that is listening and watching now that I have been through the darkest times of the darkest times in myself. I went through times where I really went on my knees praying, please, please, please help me out of this. I tried everything and I don't know anymore. And it was all to teach me and become very strong and very light. And the darkness is a gift. Don't be afraid of the dark. It's truly where the light is born. So when you are in a darkness, you are now created into something very powerful. You are prepared. It's an honor to have a lot of darkness. And I know I don't want to discard people that are going through tremendous trauma and are in deep pain, because that's real. I know I have been there too, and that's real, and you have to honor that human part. Shake it out, scream it out, sing it out, dancing out, speak with somebody, reach out for help. But once you go through that process, the darkness is here to bring us to the light, because we are coming from ages of darkness. We are living in a time that is very challenging, and we really have to know that it's kind of normal that we can feel so dense and dark. But when you, like you said, your beautiful example of the cockpit in the airplane, it's the same. Once you see your own pain, you can process it, and then at a certain moment, it will just drop off you, and you will become lighter and lighter and lighter. And that's the path of enlightenment. This is how I see it. This is the Kundalini working as well. Kundalini is also cleaning you up. It's cleaning you up.
We're doing it now.
Enlightenment is not a la-di-da-di-da path. It's a heavy path.
No. Yeah. Spiritual growth and healing is not for the faint of heart. No, fam. We've talked about that many times on this show. It's like, no. There's those internet memes or those TikTok videos where it's like, this is what you thought healing would look like. And then it's like, what it really looks like. It's true, fam. It is not for the faint of heart. But that's what we're here for. I mean, if we want to get into the woo-woo, and I love that, we'll now kind of transition. And before we do, I want to hold space with you as well, Angie. You are safe and you are seen. I'm holding space with you for your journey that you've gone through. We're just connecting souls, and I think that you're amazing. I think that you are amazing. I think highly of you. I always have. I'm so glad to have you as a guest and here on the show, and as a friend now of Coach Adam, as we connect, I'm with you. I talk about it often here, and I pull back those layers. I talk about being molested and raped when I was a child and left for dead and treated horribly by families and so on and so forth. So I'm with you, and it is safe here. You are always safe here. So I am with you, and I'm holding space with you, and I'm sure the audience is as well. So give her a like down in the chat, and she's a beautiful soul. You only become a warrior of the light like you are, Angie, if you've gone through the darkness and you've overcame that, because you are a warrior of the light. Believe that. So I'll say that as we transition to that,
Thank you
kind
for
of the
seeing me. But yeah.
yes. I see you and you are seen. I hear you and you are heard. You are love. You are. Blessings to you. Love and light. I think that's, we'll kind of continue pivoting in that regard in a loving way of that's what we're here to do in our incarnations. As we become brave and we literally grapple with that courage, and we light up that Kundalini, which is our courage from our soul. We've incarnated here how many times? This is not just a one-trip journey. So when we're here, we're obviously working on becoming our better selves every single time. So as we face that darkness, what we're really, really actually doing is doing the actual divine work of what we were sent here to do in the first place. There's darkness that we are here to help cleanse and clean out of our auras, of our chakras, which obviously inspires others to do their work. Even as we walk into a room, and I'm aware of this, that when you've cleaned out, I'd say 2/3 of your auric field, and you walk into a room with others who have not done that work, it starts on the cellular, molecular, solar level on a cosmic scale, starting to influence them to be like, I need to make some changes in my life. And you didn't even have to say a word. Just you, by you being Angie, walks into a coffee shop. People see you. They see your light. They see the way you gracefully just kind of are who you are. You're in your authenticity, and it just inspires something inside their soul. That's what I'm here to do. I've got to now start doing my work. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about a coach in general in this whole entire world as we're going through this time of darkness, that coaches are somehow being lit like these little candles around the world to kind of give light to others, and not for ego, not for our honor. It's to remind souls out there that their light also needs lighting their Kundalini inside and reawakening themselves. I think that's what we're all here, because we all inspire one another, and that's our job. That's the divine work that we're here to do.
Absolutely. And that's like, we are all the same. We are in essence all the same. We have all the same potential. And it's like you say, we just help each other remember. And there is something like an auric field around us. And your auric field represents what you feel inside, and also the unconscious. So the more you clean up, your presence will heal your surrounding, exactly like you say. And that's something beautiful, because at a certain moment, I mean, you called me guru. I don't see myself like a guru, but if you have like a real awakened master, you can just, like Yogananda, you can just watch his image and look at his eyes. There's like such a light presence coming out of his eyes. He doesn't have to say anything. If you are open enough to receive that, there's even like a yogic practice that you just eye gaze with an image of a master to let that information in. And this result of shedding off the skins like a snake, shedding off the darkness, shedding off the pain, going through the pain and releasing it, releasing it, releasing it. And those masters are same as you and me. We are all masters in potentially. Yeah. So we don't have to belittle ourselves. Like, but if you are still caught up in fighting your neighbor, fighting your family, fighting whoever, I don't, you, then you cannot get into that light because you are still in fight, and maybe even probably you are in fight with yourself. That's because, yeah, that's where it all starts. So there is a path towards this lightness, this bliss. And that's what we want. That's why we start this path. So let's remember that we want to get to that bliss, but we must not forget that to get to that bliss, they say that the path becomes more and more narrow, right?
Right. That's right.
What does that mean, that the path becomes narrow? It just means that you become your own judge. So you cannot lie to yourself anymore. You become more and more conscious. So anything that you do to the other human being or to yourself or to an animal or to nature, you just feel that because you are in a state of oneness. So that's the path becoming narrower. So every painful thing you do to anyone or anything or yourself is immediately visible, and you feel it. You feel it in your heart, and it hurts, and you don't want that because you just feel that you are one. So you can say it's more and more difficult because now you can play around. You play in a different way. You can still play around, but just
Yeah.
honest and
Yeah.
conscious and connected.
I love that. It's a good visual too about the narrowing, because if you're on a road, but there's, I don't know, maybe 4-lane highway, on the 2 lanes onto your right and to your left, those are all your distractions. Those are all the things you haven't conquered yet. Those are the things that you allow yourself to be drawn towards: the potato chips, the coffee, the Coca-Cola, the snacks, the treats, the bad habits, the, I don't know, going to, drinking alcohol, going and maybe having fun drugs with your friends, the damaging ones, not just the fun ones, in that regard, or gambling or something like that. And the more that you conquer those addictions, those seekings and needings and those cravings, the path, like you were saying, becomes narrower, because those are no longer options for you in your life. So of course your path becomes narrowed because you've become focused. You no longer have those distractions. And it's like the Red Sea, I guess, being parted, in a biblical spiritual reference. It's parted for you, to where your light has now carved out this narrower path, and there's fewer distractions, there's fewer hurdles, there's fewer things for you to have to overcome, and you're able to focus on whatever else is left to be done. And there really isn't that much when you're working on the divine work in that regard. It's amazing to sit here and talk to an enlightened being such as yourself. So let's talk. Let's talk, Angela. Let's talk about this divine love. I want to hear more about this. What are we doing with this divine love? I love that.
It's yeah, when you ask me that, then something opens in me and I come in another state of consciousness, because it's like, it's the words, it's like magic. The words that we use, we are creating realities. And when you call upon something truthful, for me, the divine love, I just feel immediately like reverence, because, and I get goosebumps because, as I shared just that, in my deepest crisis, like I had a financial crisis, I didn't know how to pay my bills, and I had these big dreams, and I didn't want to borrow money anymore because I felt very bad about that. And I just went on my knees and I said, please help me, because I don't know. My mind doesn't know anymore. I think that I tried everything I know I could do. So I give up now. and I surrender. And from that moment, something else picked me up and brought up people to my life, opportunities, chances, and very fast I came out of it. And every time that happened, something opened. So when I worked through the bottom of the case, right? And I went on my knees and I said, I don't know anymore. I give up. When you give up, that's like such a big moment. And then this divine love comes in. It's like, and I always, when I had this, because you don't believe it until you go through it, I thought like, wow, this is like a biblical story, you know? It's like what's written in the Bible and in all these stories that when you just give everything, hand over everything. I'm not religious. I'm not dogmatic, but I like that there's so much symbolism in those stories. It's like when you hand it over to the divine, something picks up from you. And we don't know what it is. It's like a big mystery. But this is bowing down. So in yoga, you have also this practice of, and in India, they do it a lot, like bowing down. You're lowering literally the brain lower than the heart. So it's bowing down the mind so that the heart can take over. And the heart is the symbol. The pink heart is the symbol of love, divine love. Yeah. So
Yes.
there is something in the sacred spiritual teachings that we have to surrender the mind. And when we do that, there's everything that you ask will be given. And you don't believe it until you fully trust it. This book, Conversations with God, if you have read that.
Neil Donald Walsh.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same. He also discovered that. And all these people, it's like what's going on in the world, right? That we all kind of go into this crisis and the world is in big crisis now. And I think that I hope, because it's not the first crisis in history, but I hope that this crisis is here as an opportunity, at least, to remember that we don't have to control and fix and control the earth and control each other and control cultures and religions. It's like there's a bigger force. And when you sit in the morning with your 5 minutes
There we go.
and you just ask the question, what do I feel? First connect to yourself. What do I feel now? What do I feel now, actually? What's going through me? And then accept that. And then ask if you are in peace. Yeah. So God, creator, universe, whatever you believe in, energy fields, higher self, show
That's
me
right.
the next step.
Yeah. I love that. Allow your divine plan to work through me, whatever that may be. Allow that to be. I think as mortal creatures, as wonderful and capable and divine as we can be, we also have to remind ourselves to be humble in the sense of there isn't really much that we really can control. We can't control the weather. We can't control the seas. Even if the weather tells us tomorrow is going to be 90 degrees, it might turn out to be 75. It's wrong often, right? I mean, like we can't even do that. You're boiling water and sometimes it makes a mess in the kitchen. Things just happen. And I wish that people would be more okay with that all the way since ancient Socrates and philosophy with Aristotle, that we're always in the state of becoming. You can never say that something is as it is, because as soon as you do, even if we did, I said that right now it is, 10:46 a.m. in California right this very second, but it's 10:46 and 35 seconds. And then a second later, it's 10:46 and 38 seconds. Every single millisecond that goes by is a new moment. So it's always in a state of becoming, and something is always in the state of unbecoming, right? So I wish that we would have a world mind view like that. And I know that would be hard to obviously get people to work at 9 to 5 and to drive cars on the way to work and to think about life the way they do, to be able to monetize that if we had an open-minded society. But I think that when we have moments to speak to amazing individuals such as yourself, and people tune in to things like this, because again, I've said this many times in this podcast, if you find this podcast, fam, you also found this a year and a half ago because something inside you was asking for content like this. And souls like Angie have been brought to me. She got brought to my content on Instagram, coincidence. No, there's a synchronicity there. There's an alignment. Her amazing, beautiful soul, I'm so glad and honored to be able to connect with. And it's here to be able to share with you. And now you guys get a chance to find her via the Rough Sketch Final Draft connection, and then you go find her. That's the point. And nothing is ever not working in a divine alignment or synchronicity of some kind. There are no coincidences. Everything happens for a reason. And it's a beautiful thing. It really, really is. And again, there's just so much to keep on saying. Though I hope one day, as you're saying, that this world that we're living in, the crisis that we're in, awakens us. Because sometimes that piece of coal needs the pressure to crack open and make a diamond. And maybe we become enlightened because of this crisis this time round. And Rome 3.0 doesn't just have to burn to the ground. Neither does Atlantis or the land of Lemeru. Instead, maybe this time the world grows and we become an enlightened society. How about that?
Yeah, that would be amazing. And I think it's possible if every person that is listening now can do it now and start to light up this heart energy. And I love also the example what you gave about every second is a new moment. And as an invitation, we can really bring that into life as a approach, especially if you feel like I'm stuck. It doesn't feel good where I am now. The power of our thoughts is really big. So just saying to yourself, asking yourself, what if I had nothing at this moment? Nothing at all. Imagine your house has burned down just through imagination. My house has burned down. I have nothing anymore. What would I do now? And we can, because this is another illusion that we have, that we have to follow through because now I started this. No, any second, if it doesn't feel good, then it's probably not your path. And then you can ask yourself, but if I was a blank canvas, if I was a white page, what would happen now? And that's the beauty of crisis. Sometimes if we can stop the crisis by this, maybe because we don't have the full control. But if the crisis is here, the burning of the house, the losing of the money, or the losing of the relationship, or becoming ill is here to break you down, to build you up again. So why not discover that the universe is working like that and start to work with ourselves in the same way, right?
I agree. I agree. Right. That's the breakdown to the breakthrough, right? I mean, all the sand on every single beach from around the world is literally made from broken down mountains slowly over time, and then it sifts and shares and moves around. So the breaking down to the rebuilding process is one of the best things in the world. I think the idea of shattering the ego of the self and shattering that so that you can put the puzzle pieces back together in the configuration that better suits your life. Because this idea of the ego is I was assembled the way that the world told me to be. TV, parents, media, social media, the world told me that I needed to be a certain way. And we learn the hard way that the way that we've been configured almost off the assembly line, even the way that we look nowadays with the lips, the hair, the dressing, whatever, we all look like we were literally made as like toy dolls off of the assembly line inside the factory, right? Dun, 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 dun. And then we find out this isn't authentic and true to my original being anymore. So we break that apart. And that's scary. As we were saying, circling this all back in with our whole entire beautiful episode, that takes courage because that's going to look into the darkness of the unknown, what you didn't know, of who am I really because I've been being this person that the world's told me to be and I've been rewarded for this, but I don't feel fulfilled here anymore. This feels empty. So you need to take the courage to destroy that, put that aside, and rebuild yourself as your authentic you. And that takes courage to be able to do. And love and pink light and purple light. Yes.
Yeah, and being okay with the discomfort. So whenever you decide to change something, be prepared for a phase of discomfort. And you have to go through that. So just be prepared. You will be uncomfortable to be very comfortable later on. That's it's a simple rule. And then when just being yourself, also express yourself, like I'm also like I just put on the clothes whatever I like. I don't care where I go because it makes me feel good. And when I feel good, I can bring on more light. If I have to say no, 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 because It's not allowed in the society to go like this. I'm a yoga teacher, and all the yoga teachers wear leggings and t-shirts, and I wear goddessy clothes. No, I wear goddessy clothes because I feel good, and people that like that will come to me. But the most important is that I feel good because of that. So just give yourself the permission to put, this is just an example, but to put the clothes on, the decoration in your house, in your life, to do whatever you feel good. Just do that. If it's nothing, you also don't have to run around. If you want to do nothing, give yourself the permission to do nothing. The best party in town this evening, everybody's invited. I should go, but I don't feel like it. Don't go. You will feel amazing. Simple. Simple.
Listen to that inner cosmic voice, not ChatGPT. Inner cosmic voice. That's right. That's what Angie is saying. She's saying, listen to the inner soul. That's right. Well, I think at this juncture, we're 50 minutes in. So thank you, fam, for being a part of this amazing journey. Angie has been just the best guest ever, and I'm so glad to have been able to connect with you. This is a part of the show towards the end that I like to always kind of give it a moment to my amazing guest to be able to say whatever is on your heart, whatever is in your heart today. If you were to look back on this episode 5 years, 10 years from now, what would you wanted to have said and that you would be proud of sharing with the audience? So I'm going to now do my part and hush, and you just share what you want to share right now, whatever's on your heart, whatever's on your heart.
Yeah, I have just always a very simple message, and that is that trust that inner voice. It's so simple. Trust it. And especially if you have been hearing it already for weeks, days, months, years, please let it in. Let it into your life. Let it guide you, because you cannot leave it out. It will knock on your door until you open. And some things must really come true, and some things come through a crisis. So just listen, and your life will become lighter. Every second, every minute, listen, listen, listen. That's it. Thank you.
I love it. I do. Okay. And then as we wrap it up, thank you so much for being with us, fam. Thank you for being a part of this journey. We want, obviously, you to go find the amazing coach, Angie. Angie, where can they find you? I'll put the links down below, but go and say it for those who listen to Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Where can they find you?
Yeah, so the best way is thegardenoflove.space.
And do you have any new classes coming up or anything else like that we want to plug right now? Or we just...
Yes. There's an amazing year training with a female master in Kundalini Yoga. It's called The Gift of Womanhood. So you can contact me for that. Then we can have a talk, because it's a really deep dive. And then there's a beautiful retreat coming in October in Portugal, and it's called Express, for the woman that is ready for her next step to write a book or create a company or recreate her company. I will do it together with an amazing friend of mine. It's all about expressing yourself. So that truth, feeling the truth, expressing it, and then creating that. 5 days. Boom. Amazing.
Okay. The aura of pink love and holding presence for yourself and being patient and loving yourself. That's right. And today is Friday, July the 18th. We're recording this. This will be airing a Saturday from now. So that's plenty of time for you, fam, to find her, book with her, follow her, support her. She's amazing. Go find her content. It's been an absolute honor. Thank you, Angie. Blessings to you all the way from California, from my heart to yours. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Adam.
Preach at all times, but if necessary, use words.
I love that.
Preach at all times, and if necessary, use words.
Thank you. What's on my heart is what's in my heart, which is just
Emotional sense and in a professional sense.
I would say the first thing is professional. I'll talk to that. I think one of the